Well, I grew up, I would like to say, in a Christian home. We didn't go to church every Sunday. My mom was a Catholic. And I remember at age 7, 8 years old being teased a lot because I was real small. I was a late bloomer, you might call. And so I always had this need to want to be somebody or accomplish something great. And my dad was pretty much my hero in my life. I remember him taking me on fishing trips and to Canada and hunting trips down to Tennessee. And but I was still always that little guy. And it was about that age, about 9 years old, that I was introduced to pornography at one of the hunting camps we went to. Actually, it was a fishing camp we went to up in Canada. There was a bunch of pornography magazines laying around, and I was hooked. It was at that point that I just couldn't get enough. Got married real young, to April, 18 years old. Of course, my addiction at that time, being in the military, is at an all-time high. I'm in a military town, Fort Bragg, North Carolina, and there's strip bars all over the place, and me and my buddies are going out. I'm married, and we're going out on weekends, and April just couldn't understand why I wanted to go to strip clubs. And to justify my addiction, I brought pornography into my marriage, and brought my wife into that to, I guess, to appease my conscience, to make me feel like it was okay. I, in my own brain, couldn't understand what was wrong with it. I was so deceived that I thought it was okay. I thought it was okay to have pornography in our home and involved in our intimacy, and yet it was destroying my view of her and sexuality, what God really intended that to be. So yeah, it almost destroyed our marriage. Yeah, we got to a point in our lives where we were, doing the bar scene. We weren't really drinking and partying and doing that scene. We were just going out and being around people and trying to fill that hole. And the pornography wasn't doing it for me. Partying scene wasn't doing it for her. So we just got to a point where we were like, there's got to be more. And we had some friends of ours that started inviting us to church, and they just loved us, no matter what. So we said, why not? Let's go. So we started going to church, started going out to dinner at their place, and there was one service that the pastor pretty much took the congregation to hell. And he didn't ask for a raise of hands. He just said, look at me if you want to give your life to Jesus. And April lifted her eyes and looked at him, and he was looking right at her. And she squeezed my hand, and her and I went forward. I rededicated my life, and she gave her life to the Lord. And then after being saved, we said, there's got to be more. There's got to be more. There's got to be more than just getting saved. So we started just diving in full bore, and we found Res about 21 years ago. We came to this church. When I rededicated my life, there was all this weight on that had been lifted. But I still was like, I got to get rid of it. And it was later on in life that we watched a movie. There was a line in the movie that just hit me like a bullet, and it said, "I hate losing more than I like winning." And that was me. I hated to lose, and pornography was losing for me. So I said to the Lord, I can't do it no more. You got to take it. Yeah, and I gave it to him, and I was supernaturally delivered from pornography. I've never looked at it since. Never had a desire to look at it. I think there's a lot of good programs out there, and I think, but if God doesn't deliver you, if the Holy Spirit doesn't help you, a program's only good as a program. You've got to have the Holy Spirit, and that's what did it for me. Is I just gave it to him and said, "You got to take it." And he took it, and I haven't looked at it since.